That's why I guess South Africans reacted the way that they did. Who kills an 8 months pregnant woman? We are all anticipating the testimony of the state's star witness. He said, there's a mastermind, and I was instructed by the mastermind. Do you regret what you did? And he says, yeah, I regret what I did, and I'd like the family to forgive me. It was clear that violence in South Africa had reached new heights. But what this teaches us is that crime and violence can also come in a suit.
The National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown.
This was a family, like many other South Africans, that was just trying to live through the lockdown.
The women of this country are under siege. We're a country that has declared war on women's bodies.
Yeah, we lost an angel.
The pain is still it cuts deep still.
I, for one, am a father. I wouldn't want this to happen to my daughter.
But I also know of mothers growing up in the township who would say, my son would never do that.
This tree refused to keep quiet. This tree refused to close its eyes. This tree worked like a camera and took pictures of the last moments of Tshegofatso.
So you'll remember that Tshegofatso Pule went missing in June the 4th, 2020. And her family had to look for her and was later found hanging from a tree in Durban Deep.
So a rope was tied up there. Then she was just hanging here. So I think whoever that did that failed to lift her up, to take her up, because we found her hanging. Her waist was up though.
That in fact, sent shockwaves throughout the country. Who kills an 8 months pregnant woman?
Thank you, Worship. We have before court Muzikaise Malepane, who has been charged with premeditated murder, Your Worship.
First appearance?
It will be scheduled 6, Your Worship.
On the 15th of June, that's when we saw the first arrest, which was Muzikaise Malepane, the man who's now convicted of killing Tshegofatso. He appeared in court. We saw the people that discovered Tshegofatso Pule's body coming to court, wanting to see who this person was.
We are one of the people that saw Tshegofatso hanging on a tree. So after that, I personally couldn't sleep for days. So I became connected to this case.
And then ultimately, after a year, or nearly 6 months or 8 months later, he then pleaded guilty, read out a statement in court that he took full responsibility for this.
Would like to request if there are any other suspects outstanding in this matter, or is that part of the case finalized?
Investigations are still continuing on the matter, Worship.
Yeah.
But we are obviously leaving room open for any other suspects to be arrested.
I haven't discussed the case with the police up to that far, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make other arrests as well. I don't think, it's my opinion, I don't think it was just one guy who murdered Tshegofatso.
Speculation had been rife at the time that there was a mastermind, and the mastermind was the Sintuthuka Shoba. Who is the Sintuthuka Shoba? He is the father of the unborn baby that she had been carrying.
Muzikayise Malefane blew the lid on Ntuthuka Shoba's alleged involvement in Tshegofatso Pule's murder and turned state witness. Her family had hoped for more details about what exactly transpired.
You know, and on that very same day, we heard the news that Ntuthuka Shoba had been arrested. So you can only understand, I mean, the family going through all the series of drama.
It's a step in the right direction. I must applaud, on behalf of the family, the work of the police so far with the arrest that they have made. We're preparing ourselves for a difficult journey ahead of having to relive the moments of Tshegofatso, her last moments actually on earth. But it's the journey that we as the family are prepared to travel, especially if we want to get and seek justice for Tshegofatso Pule.
And ultimately them saying that what is happening is actually like a movie because it's confirming our suspicions as well. And then obviously he was arrested. He appeared at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. We saw him try out for bail at least 2 times, which both failed. The first time he came with a lawyer, and then the second bail application he came with a different lawyer. So he was denied bail on both occasions. The first time obviously setting out his personal circumstances. We all know with bail you have to set out your personal circumstances, which must be in the interest of justice for you to be granted bail.
During his first bail application, he submitted evidence that he may lose or he might lose his employment, and indeed it happened, Your Worship. And
I have no evidence of that, sir. I have only your say so. I have no evidence of that. I have only your say so. And I also do not have any evidence under what circumstances and why he has now lost his employment. It's just you addressing the court from the sidebar.
I made submissions that he has lost his job. I made those submissions, Your Worship, that he has lost his job. I still say there's no
evidence before the court. I don't know why and how and when did he lose his work.
Having a job is not exceptional, because he did indicate that he had a job at the JSE as an analyst, and he was taking care of his ill grandmother, you know, who needed his time, who needed his money, because he paid for her medication and all of those things. But we saw those attempts failing. Newzroom Afrika reached out to the JSE after we heard that he had used his work phone to communicate with the killer.
In a Newzroom Afrika exclusive, the JSE fires the alleged mastermind in the Tshegofatso Pule murder case, Ntuthuka Shoba.
I want to take you back to yesterday when that issue was mentioned by the state. Take a listen.
4.4, a statement was obtained from personnel from JSE as per A47. Such statement confirmed that on 26 May 2020, a call was remotely made by the applicant from JSE landline and connected to a certain mobile phone. I was able to establish that the said mobile phone connected to JSE was not registered in the applicant's name, and it was used to contact Mr. Malapane several times between the period of 20 May 2020 and 14 June 2020.
In fact, on the day of her murder, you guys communicated about 23 times. So how could you have not known the killer?
He denied knowing Malefane, saying that the only time that he got to know of him was during the hard lockdown, where Malefane sold illicit alcohol and cigarettes.
He spent the entire time in prison trying to fight to go out on bail, at least for his freedom, while the trial was pending. And then fast forward to the beginning of the trial. But it was postponed because now he had new lawyers who had now taken over the case and still had to go through and prepare for the trial. He has the right to ask for this, to prepare adequately for his trial, and they needed time. So it was adjourned around October to January. So fast forward January 24th. This is the day the trial starts.